Hello and welcome back to Monster Mash Movie Marathon Day 5. And today we'll be discussing and looking at 1959's House on Haunted Hill. This film I wanted to put on because I wanted to speak about the director of this film, more so later on. But William Castle is the name, and he is a very good, well, not the best director, but he kind of brought the gimmick of 3D and like movable chairs into the mainstream in like the early 60s. When even that technology really wasn't that available. We really wasn't available at the time, but he kind of spearheaded that, and now we have these kind of 5D experiences where it's chair when you're watching a film rattles around. I'm not saying he patented the idea. I'm just saying that it was kind of his kind of brainchild in like the early 60s. So back on point. The storyline is very basic. 5 strangers get locked in a haunted house. He were being haunted. So the catch of the story is for if one person gets if one person stays the whole night and the rest of the people leave, they get $50,000, and each of the $50,000 will be split. So if there's 5, only 5 of them would get $10,000. So there's an incentive to lie to other people, which I think is quite fascinating. And I think it's good kind of motive in screwing people over with with being not necessarily evil, but just being like mischievous and whatnot. Another great thing about this film that most people know is Vincent Price. As kind of we all know, if we are horror fans, Vincent Price kind of had his renaissance in horror films, and he kind of gave his career to the horror film genre as a whole. He didn't really stop making or doing horror stuff, even in his later years, because he knew that he knew who his fans were. And I think that's very admirable for kind of like a high end kind of B list celebrity or B list actor would do, because we would never get that today. An actor just doing for something for the fans. You just wouldn't get that nowadays. The other actors are very forgetful. There's one guy's always drinking, and he gets absolutely hammered during the film, and that's just weird and odd. So yeah, one of the reasons why I put this on the list for Monster Mash movie marathon is the man who made the film. And the man who made the film was a man called William Castle. Now, William Castle had a truckload of ideas back in the day. And if you ever watched the movie Matinee, that's kind of who he was. He was this bombastic caricature of a director at that time. Like, he's always looking for the newest technology to enhance the audience's enjoyment of film. I think that's really admirable. So yeah, one bad thing about this film, and like it's not even like, like it's really unfair to like harp on, the special effects. So like I won't, but I will say if you're, I'm not really sure what you're looking for when you're looking for a movie that's just. I'm not really sure if you're looking for. I'm not really sure what you're looking for when you're looking at a movie like this. Like, are you just looking for the storyline because you've already seen that before? Are you watching it just for kind of the history and the retrospective, looking at it retrospectively on like a Vincent Price kind of viewpoint. He's really great in this, and like he's one of the roles that really kind of like hammers it in, that most of the other actors are really bad, but it kind of peters out because he's the only good actor, and that's kind of a bit sad to say, but he kind of is. And you're kind of you're just interested in his scenes. It gets to that point where you're like if Vincent Price is on screen, you kind of go, "Oh my god, this is so boring." And then Vincent Price comes on screen, like, "Oh, this is interesting now." So it's very up and down film. It's watch at your own boredom. That's what I would advise you to do. Don't go in expecting The Raven or The Fall of the House of Usher. Don't really be expecting that. But if you're into other William Castle like films, this is actually quite good, because what he used to do when this was playing in theaters was, so at the end, Vincent Price's character kind of outwits his mistress and the guy that the mistress is sleeping with, and the two of them both die, but the mistress ends up seeing this skeleton of your man who's like been sleeping with her throughout the film. And what we used to do is, when the thing happened in the theaters, he used to like rope down a skeleton like from the roof to like scare people. And that's kind of the charm of kind of these old films, is like knowing what happened in the theater a little bit more than watching it now, which is just kind of boring. But again, it's an interesting film for Vincent Price, and it's an interesting film for like horror aficionados, because the actual like house like in the film is actually like really cool. They have like one still picture of it, and they keep reusing it. But it's an interesting art deco looking building. Kind of old modern. It actually looks pretty fucking sweet, to be honest. But it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a horror like haunted house should. I think that's kind of where it kind of falls into uh, kind of like unreal at that point. But yeah, watch it at your own risk. Just the first time I watched it, I actually really liked it, and second time I watched it, I kind of enjoyed it, but not very less so. Um, but it's an interesting watch for like horror aficionados, as I said before, and Vincent Price is always kind of like a treat to watch in these films. So that's it for Monster Madness Movie Marathon Day 5. I'll see you guys tomorrow.